Hey everybody, it's a rainy morning here, and I thought I'd take just a second to a little time to demonstrate and give you some info about my latest guitar pickup. This is a lovely Gretsch G100CE Cutaway Hollowbody Archtop, acoustic archtop, so it's fully hollow. It has a laminated spruce top, laminated maple back and sides. Has a beautiful rosewood fingerboard with these lovely little inlays. 25.5-inch scale, 1 11/16 nut. So if you're accustomed to a vintage style archtop, this neck is much more slender, much more modern in feeling. I like them both. I like a big chunky neck. And of course I love the necks on my Gretsches. You guys already know I'm a fan of just about everything Gretsch. This body does have parallel tone bar bracing, which is more akin to old archtops than what you might be accustomed to in an acoustic flat top, if that's the world you're coming from, which usually have something like X bracing. It's a beautiful, beautiful guitar. Kind of inspired by the 1940s Gretsch Synchromatic archtop. Has these wonderful kind of Art Deco appointments like the Rosewood bridge there and the chrome tailpiece. It does have what appear to be something along the lines of like Grover Stay-Tight tuners. I'm not sure if those are actually Grovers or not. This particular one was made in Korea. I think all of these were, but I'm not positive about that. Some of them may be Chinese, some may be Indonesian, but they are an import line from Gretsch. This is a matte black finish. I think the only other option on these is a matte natural finish, which has kind of a slight vintage orange tint to it or something like that. The body is a 16-inch with not quite 3 inches thick. This particular one has had a couple of modifications from previous owner. I picked this up for just an unbelievable price in Houston. We're pretty much around $3 which is roughly a third of what a new one costs. So even a new one is pretty reasonable. But this does have a couple of modifications. The nut, which I believe normally is just kind of a synthetic nut, had already been changed out to a nice bone nut. And then they cut down the pick guard, which is normally kind of a big flipper style, and the volume and tone controls that are normally mounted on the pick guard have been moved to the body. Where they've been moved to doesn't really seem to affect the acoustic resonance much, and it does keep them kind of out of hand. So I do I like them down there. It still has the original Gretsch single coil floating pickup, which is mounted to the neck, a little neck bracket, so it's not actually attached to the top. The only thing I've done is I took the stock black plastic knobs off because I thought they kind of looked cheap and didn't really befit the rest of the guitar, and I put some rosewood dome knobs on it that I found on Amazon actually. It has your traditional F holes for archtop, and it has some people don't dig them, but I've always actually enjoyed them on my Gretsches. The little knurled strap retainer knobs, kind of Gretsch's 1940s, 1950s original style strap locks. Really, I find them very usable and don't ever tend to need to take them out of any of the Gretsches that I have. I've had some questions about just hearing it, so I thought I would give it a whirl. It is hooked up to my Fender Princeton Reverb Limited Bordeaux, which has a 12-inch speaker in it. But the only effect running is a little bit of reverb. First, here's a little bit of the acoustic sound. Right now, it's strung with Martin Monell's in a 12 gauge. I often prefer a flat wound on a hollow body archtop, so I do have some Tomasic infilled swing flats on the way. And once I get those put on, I'll see if I like it better with the round wound Monell's or with the flat wounds. And maybe I can get a video up of them as well. But here's a little bit of the acoustic. you turn up the volume, I like to, on an acoustic based thing like that, I like to kind of roll the tone back, which keeps it in a very acoustic sounding territory. So here's with the tone really rolled almost completely up. Right? So let's give that a whirl here. I just ran that through my looper to kind of play over it some. If you, I find then with a backing like that, if I just roll the tone up, so my volume's on max, I haven't touched the volume at all. But rolling that tone back up really gives you some treble and some bite back into it. So I wasn't sure, when I first picked this up, I wasn't sure if it was going to be something that I would hang on to or something that I would just kind of flip. But I'm really, the more I've played it over the last few days, the more I dig it. I could see ultimately maybe swapping out the single coil floating pickup. Not that there's anything wrong with it, but just to get something that's a little rounder, maybe a Lawler, Johnny Smith, or even something with a little more bite. I'm really debating that whole Charlie Christian floating pickup up there. I've never had a Charlie Christian on a guitar and always wanted one, so this might be the one. Territory with it. Sounds great on, acoustic kind of blues. Almost like the Lightning Hopkins kind of a wet acoustic. And roll that tone off and you get back into Archtop territory. I think it even sounds good as a kind of an acoustic strummer. If I was just playing a singer-songwriter gig, you could take this guitar through a decent amp and cover a lot of territory. Anyway, currently I'm calling her Dahlia, like the Black Dahlia. And she's a very welcome addition to my little Gretsch family. And I get some flat wounds on it. I'll post another video and let you see how that sounds too. Thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed.